Welcome everybody to this month's forum. I think this is a very special time that the last two forum and now the third one, we have Professor Rhayun Song, and you are becoming a regular, and it's so good to have you. She's always have wisdom backed by research. Those are the things I really appreciate. There are few people in this world, people are good at certain things. When they're good at research, they're good at spreading messages and to be together and to be practical and brilliant. Well, that is rare. And Rayong is one of the rare person I really appreciate. And so, um, so let me just welcome everybody to start with, and then let you know that the forums hold once a month. And if even if you can't attend, if you register, we'll send you the recordings. And let me introduce my team. Start with Evan, who control the mechanics of. Hi, Evan. Do you want to say
Hi everyone.
something? Hi, Kitty.
No, just good to see everyone. Yeah, I'm in Brisbane Airport, so you might see some people walking behind me, but it's great to see everyone.
And then Pat.
It's great to be here. Always good to be with all my Tai Chi friends. So I'm glad you all turned out tonight or this morning or daytime, whatever it is.
Thank you. Ernie.
Hello, everyone. We have another large group joining today, another exciting forum. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. And Nula.
So great to see so many people. Love to see you all. Enjoy.
Thank you, Nula. And Greg.
Hi, everybody. Good to see all your smiling faces again.
Thank you. Well, we can see it takes a village to make it happen, but it only happened because you are here. So I hope you enjoy and learn from the forum and enjoy the friendship and spread it around, get more people to join us. As you know, it's free unless you want to contribute a few dollars for the running cost. So we've been really putting a lot of time and energy on this science of Tai Chi and Qigong conference in Boston by the Harvard University, because some people might think research is boring. I don't understand what doctors talking about, but research are vitally important because they are using scientific methods. So whatever they discover has a better chance of being true than what we think. There are many things I practiced when I was a doctor. I thought this would make sense, but it's not necessarily so. When the researcher look into it, then we get a better truth, closer to the truth. And that in terms of Tai Chi, there's so many medical research on Tai Chi's benefit, and that is why the USA government and many governments around the world are supporting Tai Chi, and that's why many, many more people are doing Tai Chi. So research are so important, and I have great pleasure to introduce Professor Rhayun Song, who's going to talk to us about how to integrate research with the real life. Rhayun.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lam. It's great to see you all again. Today I was asked to what we learned from the Tai Chi and Qigong conference held at Harvard Medical School Osho Center in September. So I'm gonna discuss it. Shall I share the screen or, oh, it's there. Okay, thanks. The first slide, please. This is the conference venue. the Mass General Hospital, where the conference rooms were located. Next. This is the title, and actually, I was happy to see the title as it is. As you can see, the science of Tai Chi and Qigong is Whole Health Conference. As you know, Tai Chi is known as mind-body exercise with unique features of physical, the aerobic type of exercise component, and mind-focusing component. The conference mission statement clearly show that advanced model of health recognize the interconnections of the body, mind, and spirit, enhance resilience, and promote health and natural environment that supports them. The whole sentences are very Tai Chi-like, I think, and very different from other styles of scientific conference. From the start, their mission statement focuses scientific research and mind-body focusing practice. Next. So the main purpose of this conference is to show how research connects the practice. Actually, there are two types of research regarding Tai Chi and Qigong. Some scientists are looking for what is Qi, what if Qi exists, how it flows, and consequently, how can we measure it? Because in science, in research, if we can measure something like Qi, that would be great, right? Other clinical scientists, as I part of this group, we are looking at the evidence of Tai Chi and Qi more indirectly. What are the effects? What are the underlying mechanisms to bring about the effects? What specific component of TCQ would lead to specific health effects? Next. Interestingly, we could find both types of research presentation at the conference. Biomedical researchers present what they believe how Qi exists and could be measured, as well as the others, we were presenting the effects of TCQ on various populations. For TCQ practitioners and teachers, we also discuss accreditation process from various perspectives. Next. These are actually the examples of various health benefits we found through Tai Chi and Qigong practice. And good news is that more and more clinical researchers show the cumulative scientific evidence of what we are doing. So from now on, I will summarize what we know so far from biomedical research and what is meant to the practitioners. The first biomedicine research mechanism is about where is Qi. Where is Qi? It's been more than 5 years that I heard this team presenting facial systems. This facial system, they proposed the assumption that this body-wide layered network of connective tissue actually could be the pathway of Qi, or somewhat connected with the meridian point. Unfortunately, it's still a long way to go to tie up with the Qi pathway objectively enough to measure the quantity of Qi. Next. This is also what they present. Biofield physiology is another way to capture Qi. I remember when I was a research collaborator at Harvard 7 years ago, they were trying to measure electric flow during the acupuncture process at the meridian point. But at the time, the result was not, it was inconclusive because the electric flow, it was too weak to capture. That would be nice if we could measure Qi, if we know what is dosage of Tai Chi and Qigong practice. We did that like 12 weeks, 16 weeks, something like that. And then, okay, this much is how we improve certain amount of Qi, right? So that would be great. That's why they keep doing this pathway to the research to show what is the objective way to measure Chi. But this type of research has been progressing. It's good, but very, very slowly progressing. So it's still a long way to go. Next. So the second mechanism is about the mobility and the brain function. This type of research, the clinical research to show directly, indirectly, how it's connected, actually they have been shown more progressive result. So this is about mobility, brain function, and the evidence is pretty strong. It's well known that cognition and mobility, they are interconnected. But what is the mechanism? The brain researchers proposed dual task paradigms. When people start doing cognitive tasks, like calculating, memorizing, and so on, during their walking speed is actually getting slower. They slow down. When Tai Chi practice was provided, their dual task performance has been improved. It's pretty interesting, right? So we have to ask why. When the researchers observed the functional MRI, the brain image, the place to control balance was very closely located to the place to control cognitive function. So I'll show the next slide. So here is the direct and the indirect connection between balance and the cognitive function through Tai Chi and Qigong. Tai Chi is aerobic exercise, and when we do exercise, it increases brain volume. Bear with me with a few the strange names of the factors. It's gonna be pretty familiar with you soon. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, we call that BDNF. It's kind of growth factor in the central nervous system. It serves as a neurotransmitter modulator and participates in neuronal plasticity. What does it mean? In simple terms, neuroplasticity means our brain adjusts or change its function throughout the growth, or these days we are looking at the aging process. So this neuronal plasticity, it would be the essential factor for learning and memory, and that's cognitive function. So during the Tai Chi practice, actually we improve mobility, and also we improved directly cognitive function. The first mechanism would be increased brain circulation, like a BDNF improved. Consequently, neuroplasticity improved cognition. At the same time, improve muscle strength and balance. Second, that pathway is indirect pathway. Tai Chi would be effective to like a stress reduction, improve sleep quality, and as you know, if you perceive less stressful with better sleep, your physical and cognitive function improves. Next. Personally, I found this very fascinating about this third mechanism about Tai Chi and stress reduction. In the middle of the brain, there is a small almond-shaped part called amygdala. Actually, I want you to just try to remember two terminology, the anatomic terminology here in the brain. If you are interested in the cognitive function, you are dealing with in your class a lot of those people with the cognitive declining symptoms, then you may found it interesting too. This part, amygdala, the first one, this is the center for emotions, linking to the brain ability, like memory, learning, senses, like that. When we perceive something threatening, the thalamus sends sensory information to the amygdala, which triggers the fear response. This amygdala activates the sympathetic nervous system, initiating our fight or flight. You may know the term, fight or flight reaction. It also signals the hippocampus. This is the second anatomy term that I want you to be familiar with. It's going to show up a lot in cognitive research connected with Tai Chi. The hippocampus is to store memories of the fearful event so that we can avoid similar threats in the future. It was known atherosclerosis is the key to increase the risk for cardiovascular disease. This is very well-known fact. Nobody is looking at that already because we all accept that's the fact. When we perceive long-term stress, it's going to lead to higher amygdala metabolic activity, eventually to increase risk for cardiovascular disease. The researchers found that Tai Chi practice can actually change the stress neural network, leading to the beneficial effects on cardiovascular risk reduction. Next. The next mechanism is well known among Tai Chi practitioners. A lot of studies found that Tai Chi improves postural control and eventually fall prevention, even when they compared with other types of exercise like walking. Why? Walking is also good intervention, we know that, to improve postural control and balance. But when we compare the Tai Chi versus walking, thanks to the principle of weight transfer, we always put one empty foot, then weight transfer, right, during Tai Chi walking. By doing that, it was 3 times longer duration of standing. It's like weighing on one leg than walking is. It means when you are doing the same amount of exercise, like we are doing Tai Chi for 30 minutes, then Tai Chi would be more effective to improve postural control compared to we are doing walking. So remember, we are talking about the brain part called amygdala and hippocampus. Actually, hippocampus is the key for memory function, as I told you. But the recent research, they confirmed that hippocampus is the same thing that is charged for the memory function. It's connected to the postural control ability, balance. What does it mean? If we do Tai Chi long term to improve balance, it's going to improve neural network of amygdala and hippocampus. It consequently improves cognitive function. It could be one of many underlying mechanisms how Tai Chi practice actually improve mobility, balance, and directly to cognitive function among all the adults. Next. Another presentation was about cost effectiveness of Tai Chi. The findings of fall prevention studies, actually they show this presentation that compare the 3 types of fall prevention program. When they calculate ROI, this is a return on investment. It means that you spent money, how much you can save it later. So the researchers, they found that net benefit of $510 with ROI 491%. It's pretty good, right? It was much higher percentage of ROI compared with other types of fall prevention exercise. This type of research, it may seem different from other types of presentations, but actually this type of research is particularly important because when the evidence is accumulated enough like that, then the government body, they would decide to include Tai Chi practice as part of paid intervention activities, like the activities at the primary healthcare system. If they open the Tai Chi class there, then it's covered by the insurance or government fund. Next. This is the experiential session to introduce Tai Chi and Qigong to people and give them a chance to follow the movement. Dr. Lam was explaining the Tai Chi for Health program to them. And actually, we were happy and actually surprised to see how many people, the participants, come to the session because it was the concurrent. There were like almost 10 other concurrent sessions going on, but this much they came to this session to see that. we feel that this session was too short, so that was our feedback to the conference. So this would be the last slide that I want to say. So far, I introduced many mechanisms of Tai Chi presented by scientific researchers. You may agree some of them or feel suspicious yet about some studies. But what those all means to us as practitioners, here is what I could summarize from the conference. First, Tai Chi is a mind-body exercise with various embedded principles. We are aware of those principles of posture, movement, song, being mindfulness, and Xing. Remember that all cumulative health benefits of Tai Chi, actually they are because of those principles. All exercise is good. We all agree on that. But those principles makes Tai Chi unique. Second, so much scientific evidence is accumulating from the molecular level to clinical levels. Sometimes it's helpful to know those underlying mechanisms of Tai Chi leading to the specific effects for spatial populations. That information may give us the reason to be aware of the safety precautions for those specific populations, and also how we're going to adjust our program, the specific features for better outcomes. Third, actually, I've been emphasizing this part for a long time. How to apply Tai Chi and Qigong to individuals with with health or without health problems should be standardized. It's the reason it's for safety and effectiveness. Fortunately, we do have a standardized protocol for Tai Chi for health programs, and we can adjust according to the individual health conditions, right? We can start by sitting, standing, walking like that, or we can repeat basic movements and so on. So I'm sure this protocol-based strategy would be very helpful to disseminate Tai Chi to more people safely and effectively. The last, but not the least, this is my another emphasis to you. The research subject actually should be coming from the practice to have the right implications. If the researchers are doing the research for the sake of research, that what they are doing is only experimental play. There would be no clinical implications, then we are not gonna adapt that result into our practice. So while you are doing the practice, while you are teaching the practice to the class, we need to be curious and it's about when you saw something beneficial, benefits, any outcomes, why and how. That could lead to the more meaningful research. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present today. That would be.
Thank you, Rhayun. This is one of the very best presentation in Tai Chi and research I ever seen. It's amazing. You did so well. We got the summary and this is a brilliant communication combination and making it so easy to understand. And but it does make me think a lot. So if I need to think a lot being a medical doctor and Tai Chi practitioner, then you might not quite get it if you get this recording. I recommend you watch the presentation again when you get the recording and just think about it. It's just so wonderful when the approach is ingenious. And I just want to share with you that when I started doing Tai Chi, being a medical doctor, I have suspicion of existence of Qi. That's what Rhayun was talking about. And so, I mean, you can't measure it. What good is it? But as I get better in Tai Chi, I can feel the Qi. And I say to myself, it doesn't matter. it feels great, wonderful, good feeling. And I know if I do my Tai Chi right, my Chi feels better. But of course, eventually, when science advances enough, we'll be able to measure it. And Rhayun already showing trains that it can be measured. So that's great news. I also do acupuncture practice, and she mentioned about the acupuncture study again. Yeah, well, it's still not totally measurable, but I choose that I can feel it, and no harm for us to use it to guide our Tai Chi. And in her conclusion, the third point, fourth point, I really think it's so important that research, of course, are paid by the taxpayers, mostly grounded by governments. So really, the money that go to research should have a purpose. The purpose would be to help people to be healthier and happier. And she mentioned about the ratio of return on investments, how much Tai Chi bring more money, more benefit to people. That was nice. I didn't know that. I mean, I know that, but I didn't never seen anything such clear evidence. That's fantastic. The other thing is about standardized, some sort of standardization for safety, efficacy will protect the public and bring better benefit. And I totally agree. And that was my presentation. So if you like, keep your question now. You can put your question to chat, and Ernie will monitor that. But please hold your horses. I'm going to share screen with my presentation with pre-talk and after comments as well.
The Harvard University's Tai Chi and Qigong conference was a milestone. Its influence is going to be immense and long-lasting. I'm honored to present worldwide accreditation. My presentation went really well, but the recording of it did not capture my voice due to technical error, except the last 30 seconds. I was in Singapore, government hosted Wellness Day with 2,000 people. So right now, I'm re-recording my presentation as exactly as possible, so there will be minor differences. Here we go. I'm going to talk about why accreditation is useful, what it is, how we did it, and my hope for the future. We are here because most of us know Tai Chi and Qigong has great health benefit at building inner strength, immunity, and harmony. They have been well shown with many studies presented at the conference. They are never more needed for the world today. In order for us to empower more and more people, we need to look at the participants' or learners' point of view. They would want to know if Tai Chi and the instructors are safe and effective. A well set up accreditation process provided that assurance everyone needs. Therefore, it's vitally important that reliable accreditation is available, safety and efficacy cover extensive ranges, more than what most people expected. Safety, for example, include emotional, environmental, and physical aspects. In terms of emotional safety, participants need to feel comfortable at the class. Let me share an old story. Yang Chengfu's uncle, who's the son of the Yang style creator, he was known to have quick temper. One day, he broke a student's arm during a teaching session. So this just goes to say lineage is not necessarily a guarantee for safe and effective teacher. You might think these things are not likely to happen nowadays. Well, it's not necessarily so. The more common situation of emotional safety are things like lack of respect for the participants, or one, the Tai Chi is too long or too difficult, participants can feel put off or even demoralized. There are Tai Chi and Qigong movements that have high risk of injury. Instructors should know how to modify them. Some people might not know they have a medical condition, so instructors should know how to minimize risk of injury for people with and without medical conditions, as well as knowing what to do if they ran into problems. Being effective is even more far-reaching. How much people enjoy learning Tai Chi and how quick to gain benefit are essential part of being effective. If people don't enjoy doing Tai Chi, they won't do it. They are more likely to adhere to Tai Chi and Qigong when they enjoy and gain the health benefit really quickly. Research and study has made immense advances on our knowledge in exercise safety, how people learn best. This knowledge will improve the safety and efficacy very significantly. Combining ancient wisdom of Tai Chi and modern knowledge of medicine will improve the outcome. It will ensure more people come to learn Tai Chi and Qigong and to gain more benefits. Not taking advantage of modern advances is not being as effective as possible, like working with health professionals. Patients would miss out the best treatment if we're not using up-to-date knowledge. Our well set up accreditation system should incorporate up-to-date medical and learning knowledge. 26 years ago, our team composed the first Tai Chi for Health program. We took the challenge to create a short, safe, and enjoyable and effective program. Our team member consists of people with deep knowledge of different styles of Tai Chi, Chinese and traditional and modern medicine, physical and occupational therapies, sports medicine, and we also are very mindful of research work done. It took us a considerable time to come up with the program, and then we take another year to test and refine it. We have incorporated both ancient and up-to-date knowledge to create this seemingly simple and short program. Subsequently, many studies have shown how safe and effective it is. The latest study by the University of North Carolina has shown significant health benefit after only 8 weeks. In the year 1999, we started working with Arthritis Foundation to accredit instructors. Since then, we have worked with numerous foundations and health departments around the world, including Arthritis Foundation of USA, Australia, UK, Singapore, and many government bodies in USA like CDC, National Council on Aging, Administration of Community Living. And at this conference, very significantly, Dr. Janet Clark from VA presented VA accepted using complementary therapy for veterans and how they carefully assess the safety and the efficacy of accreditation standards. Her slide showed Tai Chi for Health Institute certified instructors were the very first in VA's list. Over 24 years, we continue to work with experts, learn from research studies, learn from instructors and participants to improve the safety and efficacy of our training. An evidence-based and learner-oriented teaching method is the best. At the end of the day, it's how much participants enjoy Tai Chi and how much health benefit they have gained that really matters. That is why our program has reached millions of people around the world. By now, we have trained more than 50,000 instructors, and over 30 medical studies has shown how effective and safe the program and the teaching method are. The Tai Chi for Health Institute, a non-profit educational body, has set up a comprehensive study of being safe and effective. And while honoring Tai Chi, it provides multi-tier training for all levels of instructors, extensive resource material, and great supports. The Institute also set up and maintain competency assessments, protocols, procedures, ethical codes, conflict resolutions. Our comprehensive and practical preparation package allow participants to learn the required knowledge and skill to be an instructor at their own pace before they attend the personalized interactive workshops. Our assessment, including tests, interactive discussion, role play, personal interactive workshops, and good preparation are absolute key or part of our successful training. The Institute's website listed current instructors and workshops, provides locality guides for classes around the world. We offer monthly newsletters, online instructors forum, and full-time staff offering personalized support for everyone. Importantly, many like-minded people join us to advance our purpose, especially the 200 senior and master trainers. They conduct training workshops, offer supports to all instructors and participants anytime, locally and worldwide. They are the strong backbone of our institute. We believe practical and outcome-oriented, safe and effective accreditation is vitally important in order to reach and help more and more people. While traditional training has precious experience and it works well for exclusive groups, I cannot emphasize more on how important a reliable evidence-based accreditation is for health and wellness. We hope in future to collaborate with everybody to help establish effective accreditation, hopefully before some authority may force us to a bureaucratic form of accreditation. We are more than happy to share our experience and resources with everyone. You can find more information on the Institute's website or contact me. Important afterthoughts. It was great after my presentation to receive a lot of positive feedback. One thing that became even more clear to me is that our unique stepwise progressive teaching method is also a powerful form of therapy that further enhances the health benefit. It has the key elements of consultation techniques, for example, listening to the participants, encourage positivity, empathy, respect, and teaching one small section at a time and build on it progressively. The method actually incorporates also Tai Chi key principles of listening to the incoming force, absorb, redirect to facilitate harmony and grow inner strength. The teaching method is another way of combining modern medical and psychological knowledge and the ancient art of Tai Chi. The end result is delivering health benefit even more effectively and enjoyably. This is another reason why over 30 medical studies has shown Tai Chi for Health program improve so many aspects of health, and then virtually millions of people around the world have benefit from our program. Remember, we are here to share what we know. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Well, you know, we really need Evan, but I pressed so many buttons to get back home. So, yeah, any questions?
Dr. Lam, we have received many, many comments of appreciation for both what you have just presented and the points that Dr. Song made. Request that perhaps in the next newsletter or in a bulletin, some of the summary points could be given again. But most everything is very wonderful presentations for both of you. I don't see any questions. I think people are thinking now. There was a lot presented. So let us know. Sure.
Yeah, Rhayun,
So-
that's amazing. No questions. I thought your presentation has got so many things, you know, and it's so beautifully put together. If it's okay with you, I will put the recording on YouTube and then share with people with the newsletter next time, so more people can take time to look at it and think about it.
Well, that's
Is it
great.
okay
We might have
for
some
the-
time to have a breakout session today.
Yeah,
Good.
good.
Well, I'll send everyone off to process in smaller groups and say hi to your Tai Chi friends. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes, okay? Go ahead,
I think a question did just come in. Did the conference talk about where to go next in research or how we can work together on research? That question did come in, and another question after that.
Rhayun, would you like to answer that?
I believe they didn't announce yet for the next Tai Chi and Qigong conference, but there was the two research, the committee, the body, as Dr. Lam knows about, they alternate their venue. So, well, as soon as I know, Dr. Lam would know and everybody would know.
And I was taking that more like, where is the research going next? And I was thinking of that myself, where we as instructors, if anybody has a thought on how you see Tai Chi developing, it's always evolving. I remember Dr. Lam saying a long time ago, it used to be a martial art because the biggest threat to people's existence were robbers and brigands or fighting. And now it still is self-defense, but we're defending ourselves against chronic disease and inflammation. So how is this all going? And with this evolution of making it easier for everyone to do Tai Chi exercise, what does that mean? I would be so interested in hearing what the instructors and participants think about that.
Well, those remember those clinical researches to look at the indirectly the effects of Tai Chi and Qigong on so many different the types of health outcomes. That's all coming from practitioners. It's like they were practicing, they are teaching Tai Chi, practicing Tai Chi together for a long time, and they start to notice that somebody was like standing easier, walking easier, and they think easier, better. So is that beneficial effects for cognitive function, beneficial effects for those mobility? Well, mobility, we know that, but they sleep better. It's all coming from the practitioner's point. So they start to look at it and they know that is the effective actually after certain period. By research, we can see that 8 weeks, it's enough for pain. At 12 weeks, it's enough for sleep, something like that. So that set like a finding through the research. And at the same time, that would give another biomedical or other researchers to look at the mechanisms. So they were testing, they were using functional MRI, or they are using the computer graphic the balanced testing machine to see how those difference in certain part can be connected to another part. So that's how we started, and it's just so many these days. So be feel free to tell. Actually, TCHI, we do have the research committee. So any ideas, or you want to say something, you want to ask something for the research-wise, then you can directly to Tai Chi for Health Institute, the research committee, or any admin person. Then we are like connected in that way. We talk about it, and sometimes we do research together in a group like that. So that would be another great opportunity to work together. We can work together doing Tai Chi together, but we can work together doing research together.
Thank you,
So,
Rhayun. If
Dr.
I can
Lam, there
may
was-
add that in Rhayun's the summary at the end of the last slide, she pointed out the direction for research is more to look at how much the research can serve the participants. Also, in the conference, there are people who put out lists of direction where to do research, but it's really up to the development of what happened. So I hope that, yeah.
So Dr. Lam, we did have another question come in. I know that there are studies posted up on the TCHI website. There's about 10 or so of them posted. But would any of these papers or some of these summaries of these studies be possibly available from that conference on the TCHI website for reference?
Well, the work of this conference is copyrighted by the conference, but I know they want to share, and they're just working out how to share the video, a lot of things. So when that happens, if they open up to share, I would definitely share it in my newsletter. But meanwhile, Rhayun get a really good summary of the conference, and I present another aspect. So thanks for your interest, though.
Deborah has had her hand up. But you're muted, I think, Deborah.
Thank you, Pat. This was actually in response to what Dr. Lam and I think Dr. Song was wanting to maybe hear a little bit from us as certified instructors' point of view, what we may be hearing from participants. What I'm finding with the classes that I share here in Bakersfield, California, is that the participants are coming almost kind of pre-informed of what Tai Chi can do in terms of the function for your body and benefits and health benefits. So they're coming seeking that. And what's really great about that is the presentation that you just gave reinforces in a very simplistic way some very complex things that are happening, not just from the medical field, but also that it is trickling down to our participants where they're coming in and saying, oh, do you have something for bone strength? Do you have something? I have a headache. Do you have? So they're seeing Tai Chi as something that's a viable thing that they can use and start to use right away that addresses a medical or health need, or to just have this great sense of balance or peace or calm. So it's in our area, it's shifting a bit away from the martial aspects and more kind of encompassing health. So it gives, at least me as an instructor, a great opportunity to be creative with how to market, still focusing on the same programs. So TCA, TCB, TCO, the others, but being able to use the function, some of the things that are taught in the lessons and our certifications as a part of the marketing function and benefits that draws people to the class. So those are also really, really great too. Thanks.
Exactly, as Deborah just pointed out, I've been at the beginning, when I was teaching my class, I was using specific program for specific population, like I believe TCD for diabetes, TCD for heart disease, TCM for only memory. But more and more, I'm just these days, I'm using TCA to everybody, something like that, because the standardized protocol, it's very good. We can apply that actually to everybody. The reason I'm using TCA is because it's the safest, it's most safe program that I can go with any older adult or frail older adult. How you apply that, like adjusting things for people with a specific health problem, that's the only part that you need to adjust. You can, if you want to provide TCA to those people with dementia, it works because Tai Chi principles are there, but if you have too many, like 42 movements of TCA to dementia patients, it wouldn't work because they are not be able to follow you with that many movements, right? So you have to adjust your program at the beginning of only basic 6 or basic 12 for those people who cannot follow you that much. So that kind of features that in your mind as a practitioner, you need to go slower, you need to go simple, and you need to go repeated manners so that they can follow. And then you have to make the safe environment or very simple environment so they can feel familiar to come back to you as many times that took to lead to the health benefits. So that kind of things you need to remember whenever you apply Tai Chi to people. It's not Tai Chi itself the make a miracle. The Tai Chi is good with those principles. So when you learn is already very good. It's how to apply them, how to motivate them so that they are coming to the class long enough to get the benefit. So that's how we combine research and practice together.
Yeah.
Great, thanks, Rhayun. Ernie, Paul have his hands out. Do you have question who come before more important, or should Paul have?
Yeah, Paul, do you have something more than what you put into the chat? Did we answer your question?
Yes.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thanks for the presentations. They were wonderful. I really appreciate being here. I'm actually a professor myself. I'm a professor in physical education and kinesiology. And the research I do generally has to do with pedagogy, the science of teaching and learning. And in that field, we often use a range of research methods, including qualitative methods, where we might be doing interviewing and observation and developing case studies. And to me, it seems that would bring, and we're talking about Tai Chi, right? That would bring some more balance to our approach to research. Obviously, we need the large scale studies, the clinical trials to look at the quantitative outcomes. But to better understand the sorts of things Dr. Song was talking about, how to motivate people, how to design a program, how to customize things, and people's experience, the teachers and the students' experience of these Tai Chi classes and how it's relevant and meaningful in their life. I think there's so many questions we could be asking with different research approaches. So that's my response or my thoughts to that question asked earlier about what could be some good additional steps, not to replace the sort of work that goes on, but to make it more comprehensive. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Since you're a researcher, that's where you can come in, and we would definitely have lots of material and protocols to show how people feel, how we teach, and the personal outcomes and the personal way of how things work. And the Institute would love to work with yourself or anyone. We believe in supporting research. We believe in the truth. And yeah, so that's a really nice way nice message.
Thank you. I will follow up.
Good, good. Yes. Rhayun and me are in the research committee, and we are really happy to facilitate. So, it looks like the questions are really important, and we don't have time to get the breakout session this session. It's a very, I think it's just an incredible forum this time. I would say this is very meaty in the sense that we talk about research and we talk about personal experience in the inaugural conference. The fact that Harvard University, one of the world's greatest university, actually have a conference on Tai Chi and Qigong itself says everything. And I love one of the co-chair, Gloria Yi, who did a presentation. In her presentation, the first thing she say is that she's going to do reviews on reviews. So reviews are people who look at many research studies and then give a conclusion or directions of where the study pointing. And when you have so many reviews, you have a review for the reviews, means that there are so many studies being done that you can't do that. And so once you say that I think that was just really nice to know there are lots of studies and the review on review shows very positive, as of course we know, but the world need to know. And also we need to more refine things like Rhayun was saying about which way, how to approach it. So yes, definitely that's just a really good news. And I think Rhayun's summary was just fantastic. Yep, I've been in the conference and I learned so much from her presentation just now. Annie, do you have anything else that?
I think people are taking time to absorb all this wonderful information. We had some good words here from Paul Wright, from Deborah. Appreciate that. If there's any questions that come to mind after this session, you can send them to us and we will get those to Dr. Lam and to Dr. Song and then get back to you. So if you think of something after the session is ended, that's not the end of it. We are still here to field those questions and get them on to the appropriate person. So it's wonderful to have all of this information all at once. It's just mind-boggling, but in another way. The time is too short with you, Dr. Lam and Dr. Song. Appreciate it so much for having these sessions. This could go on for a few more forums, don't you think?
Yes, Annie. Pat.
It could, but I want, I'm not muted. Good. I wanted to say that the next forum, the first Saturday of December, is going to focus on how the government agencies have been working with Tai Chi more and more. What is happening, particularly with the Tai Chi for Health Institute, as we work with groups like the National Association of Chronic Disease Directors, National Council on Aging, and other groups. And we're even going to have one or two representatives of those groups available to speak very briefly from their perspective, working with us and working with Tai Chi. So to bring a little bit more of that into the forefront, because grant money in several countries is being freed up to help fund the programs. We know they're valuable. The research is supporting it. So we will be going into that branch of looking at this at the next forum, first Saturday of December or Sunday if you're in zone 2 or on a different clock.
Thank you, Pat. Yes, that's that's really important. You kind of follow up. And I know one very senior advisor to a national USA national body is going to present. And of course, Pat and Elena, who have done a lot of work with the different departments, and Pat is the chair of the education committee, will be speaking next forum. So yeah, in this forum, I will send the recording to everyone, and also if everyone's happy, I will send it to through the newsletter in YouTube, so more people have time to really look at it and digest how important these things are. You might not understand all the stuff in research. I don't either, you know. I used to think research people are a different sort of people until I get to know many of them and get involved myself. Then I realize what a challenging job and how brilliant they are. Okay,
Dr.
so
Lam, I'd like to remind us to take a photo before we go.
okay, everybody put your best smile. Tell us when to start.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yeah, and we will stay for another 5 minutes, but I'm going to formally conclude this forum. And feel free to stay for another 5 minutes if you have anything that you prefer to share after the conference. And as Ernie says, write to us. Any questions, Rhayun and me will try to answer as much as we can.
Thank you.